Hello.
Hey.
Hi. The practice session only works if you're also a host, unfortunately, or a panelist,
Oh,
unfortunately.
okay.
So we do have one attendee entered as well, just so you know. And then as more individuals from the JCOD team enter, I'll update them to panelists.
All right, sounds good.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. We'll get started in just a few minutes. We're just going to let a few more people join. Thank you so much for being here. And if you haven't already, please put your name and organization in the chat.
Sounds good.
Okay, we'll just wait maybe 2 more minutes and then we can get started, Chris. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I think we still have some people coming in, but we can go ahead and get started. Today, Chris and Amy from JCOD are going to be presenting on communications and branding. Just some housekeeping items. If you have questions throughout the presentation, please use the Q&A feature or the chat. If you'd like to come off mute and ask your question, feel free to raise your hand and we'll do that at the very end. I'll give you access to unmute. And then we can get started. It seems like there's an echo I'm seeing.
I don't hear an echo.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So Chris and Amy, feel free to get started. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chris Kim, and I'm a senior public information specialist on the JCOD Communications team. And I'm joined today by two of my JCOD colleagues, Amy Wang, who's our graphic designer. She's going to be managing the presentation slides and answer any design related questions. And Avi Bernard, who is our public information officer, and he's going to be able to assist with any general communications questions during the webinar. So before we jump into the slides, first off, I just want to say thank you all for taking the time to be here. I know many of you here are our partners doing the work on the ground in the community, and I hear it all the time. You guys have limited time, limited staff, limited resources. So I understand that when you hear about branding, it's like, ugh, one more thing on an already full plate. But when people attend your events, they see your flyers, they engage with your programs, they're often seeing JCOD connected to that work. And in many ways, you are ambassadors of the JCOD brand. So, with that said, Amy, if you can get the presentation started.
Can you see it yet?
I see a black screen, but
Hmm.
bear with us. Okay, there we go.
There it
And
is.
if you can share it full screen. So this is our presentation, maintaining a consistent brand image with JCOD brand guidelines. If you can go ahead and move it to slide number 2. So like I said, you are ambassadors of the JCOD brand. And when you see the JCOD name or logo appear on something, it should be recognizable, consistent, and clear because it helps the public understand that this work is connected and coordinated. So branding is basically how the public is able to connect the dots between the work happening across many organizations. And just doing a quick thought exercise, if you think about some of the big recognizable brands out there, Target, for example, they own the color red. When you walk through a store and you need help, you look for someone wearing red. I mean, even if you, I know this has happened to me before, but when you wear a red shirt, you might accidentally get approached by someone looking for assistance because that's how strong that brand is. And same with like Walmart and Best Buy, you'll see employees with blue vests or blue polos. If you think of Starbucks, you see the baristas wearing the iconic green aprons, and you can instantly recognize it, whether it's a storefront, it's in a grocery store, or an airport. You know what you're looking at immediately, and you're going to hear this a lot. It's consistency that does the heavy lifting and offers that familiarity for customers. And those brands, they spent decades building that recognition. And I know we're nonprofits here and we're not trying to operate like retail brands, but that principle is still the same. It's that consistency that's going to create that recognition. And from that recognition, you're going to build that brand trust. And that trust is what helps people engage with your mission. So if you can go to slide 3. All right, here is the QR code. So pull out your phones and take a picture of it. It's going to take you to the link, but to make it easy, I'm also going to put it in the chat right now. If for anyone that's on the PC, you can just click on that. If you go to that link, I'm going to save you 3 hours of webinar discussion because we can go through all the guidelines, all the templates, and everything that's in there. But to make it easy on you, just go to that link. It has everything about logos, fonts, waivers, and templates. And if you want to think of it like a coach having a playbook, think of it as the JCOD playbook. It's all there. If you refer to it often, it makes branding so much easier. You don't have to worry about which font to use, which logo, which graphics, which um, color style. It's all out there. And good branding actually saves time because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So refer to it often. Next slide, please. And here is our beautiful JCOD logo. And these are the JCOD logo guidelines. And as I was mentioning before, it's all about consistency. A logo isn't just a decoration, it's identification. And when you design a flyer or poster on a light background, you're going to be using that standard logo on the left. And when you use a background that is dark, you're going to use that reverse logo, which is the one on the right with the purple in the background. If you see my image right here, the JCOD logo, that's going to be the one on the right because it has the dark logo. So that kind of gives you an idea of what to use. If you can go to the next slide. Now, this is where consistency matters the most because when you see a logo change every time it appears, that brand recognition kind of starts disappearing. Even small changes to a logo can weaken the brand recognition. So we're really adamant about maintaining that same logo placement and structure because we don't want to lose that brand recognition. So if you think about kind of the big brand examples I mentioned earlier, like Starbucks or Coca-Cola, if they change their logo every time someone printed a sign, you're not going to be trusting or familiar with it. So that's kind of what we want to protect. We don't want to hurt that identity and brand recognition. So if you look at the logos on the right, or sorry, if you start with looking at the logos on the left, those are the different color styles and how they're placed depending on the color of the background. And if you look at on the examples on the right, these are some of the common mistakes that we've seen and how the logos are incorrectly placed or modified. So we'll be sending this PowerPoint as well. So if you want to take the time to look at it and study it, like the first one, for example, the one on the top left, it looks okay. But if you see that the gold Los Angeles County and the gold department, that got modified out. So again, we want to maintain brand consistency and keep the image of the logo consistent and steady throughout all the publication that we send out. Next slide, please. And like I mentioned, color is one of the fastest ways people recognize a brand. And I see some familiar faces here, and I'm sure some of you have attended our events, like the JCOD Summit, for example. And when you're at an event like that, where there's hundreds of people, you can still recognize the JCOD people, the JCOD team, because look what I'm wearing right now. It's the JCOD polo, and we're identified with the JCOD logo. So our purple polos, that's one example of how color plays an important role. And if you look through here, you'll see that our official font is called Inter. So if you go on Word, if you go on the design software, look through the font, it's called Inter. And then for our header right there for our logo, it's Inter Bold. So if you look at our color palette, that's going to be on our right. These are what you, I guess, can consider our official team colors. And when you go to change a color in most design programs, you're going to see a color wheel and a box where you can enter that specific color code. So if you're not sure what that box does, that's basically what that's for. So if you type in those digits, for example, are the purple, it's 3B0089, that's going to get you that purple. And then just to go through the colors, they're actually the first one is teal, followed by deep purple or indigo, which we like to call JCOD purple. And then the official name for that middle gold is golden amber, followed by dark teal or deep green, and then, of course, light gray and black. Next slide. And these are kind of some of the example templates that we have that can be interchanged with images. We do have templates in that link I shared. So if you go to that link, you'll be able to find some templates out there. And templates help maintain consistency even when different organizations are creating materials. And like I said, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We have these templates ready for you to use. And if you look at some of the ones on the right, the different images being replaced, those are kind of some of the example templates that we've used and published before. Next slide. And many of you represent JCOD through the work you do in the community. You may not work inside JCOD, but when you use the logo, you become part of how the public experiences the department. Because again, you're more than just partners, you're brand ambassadors. So these are some more examples of how our logo can be interchanged with flyers, with pamphlets, with brochures, and things like that. Next slide, please. Again, these are more examples of materials that require JCOD branding when advertising or promoting events and things like that. So we have promotional materials, which include flyers and posters. We have various photography, intake forms, reports, diplomas or certificates, letters, and various printed material, including what we like to call swag. And if you have any questions at all of using JCOD branding material, just email it to us for review at pio@jcod.lacounty.gov. And we're more than happy to approve it because approval shouldn't be a bottleneck. It's quality control. So we make sure that the product and brand consistency stays the same. Next slide. And this was a recent additional requirement that we wanted to highlight, and that's the funder acknowledgement language. And this acknowledgement is required on public materials related to JCOD funded programs or projects, unless it's otherwise approved in writing. So you're going to see on the bottom left, that's our standard acknowledgement with a disclaimer, which reads, this program is funded through the County of Los Angeles Justice Care and Opportunities Department Care First Community Investment Care Grant Program. The content and views expressed are those of your organization and do not necessarily represent the official views of the County of Los Angeles or the Los Angeles County Justice Care and Opportunities Department. So again, this applies to materials like flyers, presentations, websites, reports that reference JCOD funded activities or outcomes. We also have a shortened version on the right in that teal block there, and that's also for flyers or posters that might not have a lot of space. And there's also a separate version with language to use for multiple funders. And of course, on the purple tab there, one other practice we want you to make a habit of, and I'm assuming most of the organizations here have social media. If you don't, we can help you get set up. But when you share program highlights or impact stories, be sure to tag us at LAC especially on Instagram, which is our most used social media platform, because not only do we want to see your successes, but we want to share it as well. Because in the end, your mission is our mission, and we want to uplift the community. And of course, we want to make LA County a better place for everyone. So be sure to share your successes with us on social media at LAC JCOD. Next slide. And for public events, we're more than happy to collaborate as well if it involves, JCOD programs or contracts. Some of the things we've worked with different organizations, we've done ribbon cuttings, graduations, open houses, you name it. And we can coordinate on inviting local representatives, government agencies and partners, even media and other stakeholders. So again, just feel free to reach out to us. We are the communications team or Office of External Affairs, and that's PIO at jcod.lacounty.gov. Next slide. And that about wraps it up for our branding. Again, branding, it's the importance of collaboration and maintaining a consistent brand image, because we want to increase the awareness of JCOD programs. We want to recognize the achievements and successes. And of course, we want to improve LA County and improve the service delivery to justice impacted individuals. Next slide. And again, any questions, thoughts, comments, or concerns after this presentation, please reach out to us. PIO at jcod.lacounty.gov. We're more than happy to assist with anything. We can help out with any comms related questions, any branding or event related items. So feel free to reach out to us at that address. And I'll open it up for questions.
I don't see any questions in the Q&A. We did have one question in the chat about whether or not the slides would be sent out, and we will send the slides out as well as a recording. And then any links that were dropped in the chat as well. Is there anyone who would like to come off mute and ask your question? Feel free to raise your hand or drop it in the Q&A box.
This is Ruth. Hi, everyone. This is Ruth from JCOD. Just wanted to say thank you to our JCOD comms team for helping us to see and know what colors to use, how to use the logo, because a lot of times we, get caught up on making it look pretty but aesthetic, and it may take things off brand. So really, really appreciate that. Wanted to make something a reminder to everyone. We have monthly CFCI advisory committee meetings, and they happen on the third Thursday of the month. So the next one is coming up on March 19th. If you want information or want to stay in the know about how money is getting approved for CFCI, when money is coming out, when, like all of the decision making around CFCI funding, it's made a lot of the decisions are made in those meetings, and they're public meetings. They're from 4 to 6 p.m. And we have a website. I will try to find, I don't know, Kat, see, there. Thank you for dropping that in the chat. So you can click on the link that's in the chat to, stay abreast of when these meetings are, but they're the third Thursday of the month. And the next one is coming up March 19th, and it's from 4 to 6 p.m. You can join virtually or you can meet in person. These meetings are in person, but we have a virtual option as well.
Thank you so much, Ruth. We do have one hand raised. So Becky, I'm going to ask you to unmute and feel free to come off mute and ask your question.
Yeah, I really love the presentation and thank you for taking your time to explain the branding guidelines. Really helpful. I also do the social media kind of like platform. I'm just kind of curious because we also have our own branding and our color schemes and it's all blue with identity. So how do we collaborate with your organization when it comes to like social media? Do we have like a specific logo that you guys want us to use? I know you guys have like a couple different ones, but just kind of curious of like how that could be in collaboration of like which templates to use or whatnot. Or if you rather have that be a collaboration on the feed or just a story collaboration on social media.
Yeah, that's a great question, Becky. Normally what we do is Chris did show you in the presentation and you all will receive that, the logos that we use, whether it's a light background or a dark background. And it's always that same logo. And in terms of having multiple logos, we do that in collaboration with a lot of things you'll be seeing upcoming shortly for our Second Chance Month events. We'll be collaborating with different entities on those events and you'll see our logo and their logo. So the entire flyer doesn't necessarily have to always be our colors, but what we do when we collaborate with other entities, such as an organization such as yours, or whether it be university or another county department, we usually have them send it to us, and maybe Amy will work on it, who's here on this call, our graphic artist. And then once that's approved, then we make sure that you guys are okay with it too. And then once we have that all settled, then we send it out, and maybe you send it on your social, or we collaborate on a post, or whatever it is. But it's very simple to have both of our logos with the different color schemes on the same flyer.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, and the main thing is we just don't want to have our logo disappear. So, for example, if you look at the logo, on my right up here, you'll see like the Justice Care and Opportunities. You'll see that the Justice Care Opportunities is in white. So obviously, if it's on a white poster board, that logo is completely gone. So you're going to have to revert to the other one. So we just want to make sure that it's visible and consistent. But thank you, Becky, for that question.
Thank you, Becky. Do we have any other questions? Feel free to again put it in the Q&A or raise your hand. Okay, no questions, but a shorter webinar today. And Chris did share that email where you all can forward any questions if any come up. We'll also send a follow-up email with that information and the recording and slides as well. Seeing no more questions, thank you all for joining us today. Have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
All right,
you.
thank you all for your time.